Hello, good evening. We're back. Arsenal are back. Football is back. I'm back. Most of me, as you'll notice, my hair's gone. I hope you think this look is more kind of Alexander Lacazette with a shaved head than Ainsley Maitland-Niles' attempt at a shaved head. But I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments regardless. Um, Football's back and it's kind of as we remember it. Manchester City are still a lot better than Arsenal. David Luiz is still pretty unpredictable and a bit of a problem at the heart of the defence. And we're a long way away from where we need to be. I mean, Luiz is going to take the headlines tonight, which is impressive, really, given all the talk about Mesut Ozil pre-game. He was left out of the matchday squad despite being completely fit. Perhaps Mikel Arteta's comments in his press conferences will see him back into the discussion, but it is all about Luiz right now. He did not start David Luiz amid talk of his contract renegotiation. You know, they need to decide if they're going to trigger a clause either until the end of this season or potentially until the end of next. He won't have done his chances of that extension any good tonight. It's a really fascinating case because we know Mikel Arteta thinks incredibly highly of Luiz, both as a player and a person. But tonight was not a good night for him. And actually, I have to give a shout out to my brother, Charlie, because we were talking before the game and he was talking to me about how interesting it's going to be. He's a Chelsea fan. He knows Luiz really well, watched him closely for years. And he was saying it's going to be interesting how certain players cope with different atmosphere, with there being no fans there. And Luiz, as someone who is prone, as we know, to lapses in concentration, is someone he singled out as someone who might struggle. As if, you know, without the crowd there, without the intensity, the atmosphere, without the focus that naturally provides, he might get sloppy, because he can be sloppy at the best of times, even when there's 90,000 people there watching him. If you saw him in the friendly against Brentford, he was sloppy there. And today, he had that same kind of sloppy, friendly energy. Big error on the first goal. Really should have done better to cut the ball out. Leno must have been furious, having made so many great saves in the first half, only for Luiz to let Sterling in for the opening goal. And on the second one, I mean, it's a poor attempt at a challenge. He's caught out. It's exactly the same as against Liverpool earlier this season. Once the man's gone past him, don't make the decision to foul. Don't give the referee a chance to send you off. But he does. He's such a fascinating, complex character, I think, because he makes these errors. He'll never stop. It is who he is. And yet in certain teams, he's won the biggest competitions in club football. He's won the Premier League. He's won the Champions League. It is a conundrum, but I think the main difference is that in those teams, they had other players who they weren't, which meant they weren't quite as reliant on him. You know, what does he bring to Arsenal? Well, he brings his ability to play out from the back. Well, something I sort of noticed watching Manchester City tonight is they've got that everywhere. Fernandinho can drop in at centre half and play out from the back. Ederson can play out from the back. The goalkeeper. You know, it's not like they've got one route when it comes to their passing game. Arsenal are not in that place yet and will not be for some time. In fairness to Mikel Arteta, he didn't want to pick Luiz tonight. I'm sure he had his reasons. We might be hearing about that as I speak. He picked Pablo Mari and he got injured. Granit Xhaka also got injured. A lot of people will talk about, well, you know, is this a muscular problem? Why aren't Arsenal fitter? Should they have done more preparation? Early impressions I have is that both injuries were a bit unfortunate, that they were kind of contact injuries and that they could have happened in any game at any time. But it was a problem for Arteta, not just because it forced him into two changes in the first half, which severely limited his options in the second half, but it also meant that he wasn't really playing the team that was part of his game plan. And the game plan for 20 minutes was not bad. I liked some of what I saw. I liked the fight that you saw from Guendouzi. I even liked some of what Sabanis provided, but after he came on for Xhaka, I liked the youthful, positive, optimistic selection, the energy of Nketiah. I liked Kieran Tierney, a left-back. I thought he emerged from this game with some credit and thankfully emerged from this game fit. He's the one that I was really worried about. You know, I really, really hope this could be a positive period for him between now and the end of the season. But after the first 20 minutes or so, City just took control, and Arsenal couldn't really get near them. I'm a big fan of Joe Willock, but he was not in the game at all. Just kept playing kind of as an 8/10. Arsenal's best moments in the first half were when they went long. They kind of bypassed him. Saka played from the right wing. I mean, we just didn't see him. We didn't see Arsenal's attacking players. We didn't see Aubameyang. We didn't really have any control in the midfield. And once Marie went off, the second injury, we just kind of lost our structure, lost our shape. And City took complete charge. And they have got players who are on another level to us. We do not have anyone who can do probably half the stuff their central midfielder can do. And I do mean that. I know people will point to Ozil, but his capacity to affect games is not really comparable with Kevin De Bruyne's at the moment. I mean, he was outstanding tonight. And they have goal scorers all over the pitch. Mahrez, Guerrero on the bench, Sterling, Jesus, Bernardo Silva in the squad as well. Arsenal so reliant on Aubameyang. He didn't have a chance tonight. We didn't have a shot on target. It was a humbling experience, but given that Arsenal faced probably one of their toughest remaining fixtures at a time when they're probably at their least fit, I think Arteta will try to just move on from this. I think his pride will be hurt because I think he would have cared about this game returning to City. But I think he will accept as well that we're just a long way away. And I mean, if you saw the piece we did in The Athletic today, it was all about the building blocks that Arteta's putting in place, the messages he's trying to send. And I thought he sent messages with his selection tonight. But they are building blocks, and we are in such an early period. And actually, although we think of City as a rival, a top six rival, we are not in competition with them at the moment. We are a mid-table club. You look at all the stats, we've had a mid-table season, and we are fighting to be the best of the rest this year. We are not a top six entity, and it's painful, but City really underlined the degree to which that is true tonight. And the top two, I think, are ahead of the rest anyway. They're in a different category. I would have loved to see Arsenal be more competitive tonight. I would have loved to see Arsenal be more aggressive, more attacking, to pose some threat to the opposition goal. But I think the injuries made it hard, and I think the sending off obviously made it impossible, and that killed the game. But it was football, and I did enjoy watching it. I enjoyed dissecting the game. I enjoyed analysing the performances, seeing how the players responded to the unusual environment. And I'm really looking forward to Brighton. And I guess I'm not too downhearted. I mean, I didn't expect to win this game. And I think, everything that's happening or happened in the world, it does place everything in context, doesn't it? And I think a defeat away to Manchester City, you can live with it. It's not ideal. I think there'll be implications. I think there are big decisions to be made about Luiz, about Ceballos, about Marie, all these players whose deals need to be sorted in the next few days or so, really. Big decisions, not just for Arteta, but for the likes of Edu and Raul Sanllehi. And there's going to be a lot of focus and a lot of pressure on them to make the right decisions, especially after those injuries we've received. But I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be watching it. I'm glad that we can talk about games again. And we will do so again after the Brighton game on Saturday. So not the best night for Arsenal, but a good night to see football back. And a good night to be back here chatting to you guys. Anyway, take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you after Brighton. Bye-bye. Oh, Askcast Extra tomorrow and Handbrake Off. So keep your ears peeled for those. Cheers, guys.